GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show that gets in before the hype and leaves before the apology video. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton. It's Wednesday, June the 11th. This episode was recorded yesterday on June 10th. Now, at Milk Road, our mission is to guide everyday people to become millionaire investors. And a big part of crypto investing is the crypto casino, the trenches, the opportunity to get a 100x trade that we all desire and hear about, but it's so hard to do. I'm not an expert on the trenches. And honestly, no one on the Milk Road team is an expert on the trenches in the crypto casino. So what do? We brought in one of the best in the biz who's been in the crypto casino for years, grinding and building. I'm talking about LG Doucet, who has recently launched Milk Road Degen. So Milk Road Degen is where he will talk about the crypto trenches every day and help you navigate the crypto casino, whether it's meme coins or AI coins, whatever the narrative of the day, narrative of the week, he's going to guide you to do that. He does this by going live on X every day at 11 a.m. Eastern for 15 to 20 minutes. He also has a newsletter twice a week. Hit the link in the show notes if you want to get that. Today, LG is joining us on the show to give us his breakdown for how he thinks about investing, his framework. How do you chase a 100x? How do you invest in these very small microcap tokens under $1 million market cap? How do you think about that? We're also going to talk about his thoughts on Pump.fun, their upcoming token launch. What does that mean for meme coins? What does it mean for Solana? We're going to talk about Hyperliquid. We're going to talk about InfoFi. We're going to talk about other narratives that he is paying attention to. A awesome, super fun show. LG is just, there ain't nobody like him in this business. Before we jump in, today's episode is brought to you by Ledn. Get cash without selling your Bitcoin. It's also brought to you by Meanwhile. Ditch dollars, insure in Bitcoin. Without further ado, LG, welcome to the Milk Road Show. Oh, you're muted, LG.
Classic. That's just too. When you started the show, I've looked at like 16 different tickers since you started talking. So I didn't want you to hear the clicking. But Jay, it's like I'm like dark Jay. You know what I mean? It's like we got the man buns, we got the little beards, but it's like my eyes are darker. They're deeper sunken into my face. It's like come to the dark. You like Jay? Well, it's like come to the dark side. Cross through the mirror.
It is funny. We actually do look remarkably similar, and we don't need to go into this story, but we actually are old friends as well. LG and I used to run a business together. I don't even know what, 2 decades ago or something like that. So, but we'll save that story for another time. There's lots of stories that came out of that. Okay,
a pre-Bitcoin business, if you can believe it. We should have taken payments in Bitcoin, but there was no Bitcoin. That would have been a smart thing to do.
That would have been smart.
But Jay, I'm just going to cut you off right now because listen, I've been doing podcasts a long time too. So I'm just going to flip the script on you, just like Milk Road Degen is flipping the script on your whole show, your whole operation. I'm just going to throw out a question to you. Okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
Listen, Mr. Millionaire, turn people into millionaire investors, invest in smart stuff. All your shows, you have like big brains telling all this nice stuff. You got macro guy. Oh, here's what's happening. Gold reserves, whatever. Ignore all that. Listen, somebody just dropped off $1,000 at your doorstep, and they're like, "You have to spend this in the next 5 minutes, and it has to be on." And what would it take for you to spend that $1,000 on a token that has less than $1 million market cap? And that is like, it's not an inside tip. It's because you think you have a hunch. But what would that take for you to actually do that?
Like, honestly, like what would it take? Somebody who has time and knows what they're talking about giving me some direction, or it would take more time. I don't follow this stuff, so I have no idea. Like, I would do it. I love. Yeah, I mean, I threw you the other day. We were talking in Discord. What was the one I said?
KBBB.
Kill the big beautiful bill. Yeah.
That's it.
Like,
you nailed it. You nailed it in DMs, man. That was the best tip I got all week. Listen, guys, Jay's secret. Listen, and everybody, including Jay and Kyle and everybody in Milk Road, there's secretly like a degen gambler who wants to come out and bet all this stuff. But they're too busy with their nice long newsletters, their institutional, research to actually do it. And that's the whole point of Milk Road Degen. And also, that's been most of my crypto career, has been like doing this kind of stuff, man. Jay, okay. So just to put a bow on that, during the Elon and Trump Twitter rage the other day, there's about like 85,000 tokens that showed up naturally, and Jay nailed the one that like 3x'd, which was the kill the big beautiful.
I didn't even know there was 85,000. See,
there's so many. There's so many. Like anytime there's a news event, there's like 50,000 tokens that show up for. Everybody wants to have their token be the one and collect the fees and like, you know, make a ton of money. So
because here's the truth, and then you can keep asking me questions because this is sort of fun. But here's the truth: is I would love to take more risk in my investment portfolio, but it is when there's 85,000 tokens that get launched in one day around one meme. I don't have the time to know which one is the one. And so that's why I really, I just need somebody that can guide me and help me out and lead me in that direction, which I realize I'm sort of indirectly shilling you as I say that, but it is true. You know, you've got a daily show, 15 minutes a day on X. People can show up to that and you'll tell them, show us some of your winners so far. Show us some of your winners.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
That's a good highlight.
Pull it up. Can you get that on? Can you put it on stage? I think on stage. There you go. Here it is. So listen, we've done like about 30 or so episodes, right? And some of those episodes, not every single one has been trenching. Some of them has been like airdrop farming and explaining the latest protocol. Here's just a sample of some of the wins, and these aren't massive multipliers, but it takes most tokens to go to 100x that aren't total shitters, excuse my language, are ones that take quite a while. So we've got a mix here. Like the very first one is probably one of the best institutional, you know, bets you can make. It's an AI agent for Moonwell, which is a pretty large DeFi protocol built by ex-Coinbase devs. Like that's not nothing. And we called that, you know, the day it came out around like 10, 15 mil, hitting about 70, 80 mil now, probably going to be listed on Coinbase. So we have stuff like that. And then we have two more down, another 5X's ASDAC, which is literally has zero depth whatsoever. It's just NASDAQ, but ass, and it's pictures of butts, and it has a rabid community. And we caught that sub $1 million. It hit like 4 or 5 million. Now it's kind of sitting around 1 or 2. People probably rolling their eyes. I'm not going to buy ASDAC, and you don't have to. And also, Jay, I just want to be clear that it's like not every single show is about like real-time trenching. You know what I mean? Because this stuff moves too fast, and it's an easy way to get burned. So it's not something that I focus on too much. I like having a lot of fun, but it's somewhere where I have two beliefs there. Where one, you know, totally, you can go in there any time of day, have fun, buy meme coins, buy like an ASDAC if you want, or you can kind of look at it, canvas it, take a step back and think about which of these are going to be like another big narrative, like an NFTs, right? NFTs came in 2017, 2018, CryptoKitties went away, got built up, and then had this massive boom, massive like bring in retail boom late 2020, 2021. And I got in a couple months early. Jay, another question for you. Get your ass back out here. There's no escape. Since like the NFTs, what is your biggest miss? What's the thing that you're like, man, if I had just like 3 people pinged me, I should have just taken 10 minutes to learn about this thing and I didn't, or I had the chance to put a couple. What did you miss?
That's a long list, man. That's a long list.
Well, recently, one that became really big. One that you're like how could
Fartcoin.
Yeah.
Fartcoin really stands out in that way. Like
almost any day before today, you'd be in the green buying Fartcoin.
Yeah. I remember Fartcoin super early and thinking, and just, you know, just fading it because I don't have the time. And when you don't have the time, like for me to go do the research to figure out if Fartcoin's a good investment would take me, I don't even know, like hours upon hours, and I probably wouldn't even get a very good result. Like it's not even like I would, you know, whereas I need the direction. And I mean, Hyperliquid as well. I remember talking about Hyperliquid super early. I know that's not a meme coin or not like a trenches, but that was pretty trenches in the beginning, right? And those are the best. Else? Those are the best cooks. Listen, there's gonna be ASDACs and things that it's like, listen, right place, right time. You buy the right token, it goes from 40K to 10 million in a day. That's great. And I think that a lot of people, when they talk meme coins, that's what they want to promise you. But I think chasing those, that's really hard. Like that's real. That's not casino. It's like dice in the alley kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like that's like you might get killed. Like it's like you'll never play again. But I think that there are things like even like what you're talking about that's like Hyperliquid, Fartcoin, NFTs, ordinals. Everybody remembers ordinals, like NFTs on Bitcoin. That it was cringe. Runes. And then what? And why is everyone talking about runes right now all of a sudden?
I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about that. I'll investigate it tonight for you. And I'll get back to you tomorrow.
I had the co-CEO of Kraken on the show earlier today, and he talked about runes and dog coin.
Because they're going to list them. That's why they're going to start listing runes. The infrastructure for runes is really complicated, and so is liquidity on it. So trading them, they'd have to trade them off chain. That's probably that's what all centralized exchanges are. But they'd have to acquire enough of them to create a liquidity pool. So, but yeah, maybe runes will come back. Runes have been waiting for tier 1 listings for over a year now.
Can I ask you some questions now, or do you have any more for me?
God, I was in the middle of a rant. You brought in runes for some reason. All I'm saying, let me just finish my point, and then you can ask me some questions. What I'm saying is that, sure, there's the daily runners. They can turn into more. But I think the next big metas actually just kind of sit in front of you for months, and you don't do anything, right? Like Fartcoin wasn't always $1 billion. Fartcoin spent weeks, 5, 10, 15, 20, up to 100, back down to 20. It just middle, and that's just one token. Ordinal, same thing. Hyperliquid. People, all the smart people around are like, I'm on Hyperliquid. You got to farm Hyperliquid. Do your perps there. Put monies in the vault. Whatever. Greatest airdrop in crypto history by a wide margin. Insane wealth creation. A $40 billion market cap. You know what I mean? Like it's berserk. So or $40 a token rather. So I think like the onus of the show really that I'm doing is that it's like, yeah, every day we'll talk about the funny tokens and those stories, but the bigger picture in the newsletter and on the show. And maybe eventually podcast is like, listen, something like Virtuals, AI Agent Launchpad. I was there on the first day and it was crickets. There was no one there. AIXBT, that little purple frog who hit like a $500 million cap. I bought that sub 100K. And I was just like, I'm throwing $20 at it. Cause I'm like, yeah, but you never know. And then I sold it on 15 million because I was like, I made so much money, what a multiplier, what an idiot. But, so I think that and that still took a month for that to happen. So I think there's a lot of really great stuff that sits there for a long time that feels degen, and it might feel cringe to a lot of more sophisticated crypto investors. And then one day it doesn't anymore. And it's a huge part of the industry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really great point, which I think is like super easy to miss, is how much the obvious sits right in front of your face, and you really can look past it. Okay, you mentioned a few things there that I want to now ask you a question, which I'm thank you for giving me my show back. We'll see if you get invited back here, LG. There's two. I want to talk about how you think about investing in the trenches or in the crypto casino, so we can get like an idea of your framework before we jump into talking about like what are the metas and the narratives of the day, which we are going to talk about. We'll talk about Pump.fun token and what that means, and we're going to talk about InfoFi and Kaido and some other tokens. I think we might talk about Virtuals, and so where you're seeing action right now. But you mentioned a few things. One, you mentioned you put $20 in early on. I don't remember what token you said.
AIXBT.
AIXBT.
Like okay. Fraud, like the kind of like the leading AI agent bot on Twitter for a long time.
So what that says to me is, okay, you're putting in small. This isn't like you taking your whole portfolio. So that's like one thing that stands out to me. And then my other question, and then you can just tell us about your investment framework, how you think about it, is like, what about time, right? Because the time frame, there's a big difference. What we talk about on my show a lot is like the difference between being a trader and being an investor. And the time frame for the stuff on my show is more long term, right? It's buy and hold and hold for the long term, right? Whereas my gut tells me that the time frame for your stuff in the casino is much shorter, which probably means you have to be tuned in. You have to think about these things when you're making these trades or these investments. You have to be prepared to, what are you buying into and what are you committing to, and how is your exit going to be? Anyways, give us your breakdown of your investment strategy of how you think about it.
First of all, I really believe in being mercenary with your capital. Okay. This isn't, I think the people in my community, even myself, if you think back to the meta that brought us all in with NFTs, we got torched thinking that's going to last forever. We got torched with all these beautiful beliefs of what these NFTs were going to do. And, days like today, Jay, you're just like, I should sell, but God, what if there's another big green candle tomorrow, right? And for things like, listen, like these larger cap, Bitcoins in the East, it's like, yeah, definitely hold that forever, man. Like that'll matter. that, if you think Bitcoin's going to $1 million, $2 million, whatever dollars, it's like, don't even look at the charts. But for this kind of stuff, I look at it as like, you are there to protect capital and you need to be mercenary with taking profit. Doesn't matter what keeps going after. And you need to be mercenary with cutting losses, man. You can't hold, listen, we all got everybody, so many's got torched holding 6-figure plus NFTs that went almost to zero. Right. And hey, look at what is that a moon?
It's a moonbird. That's the moonbird right there.
Use my binoculars with that moonbird there.
There's some pudgies back there too. Those are in.
Pudgies were recently like worth a lot of money. The pudgies were recently a nice. Every pudgy holder got $100,000 airdrop. Okay, in January. So. Congrats to those people. That's the 0.001% of NFTs that made it, that actually survived and stayed relevant. The rest are gone. And so the way I see it is that, like, listen, you want to play in the trenches, you want to play the daily game. It's like you go in there, you start with $20, you start $2,000, whatever it is. Your goal is to not go to zero. And your goal is that it's like, great, if you can turn that 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000, that's good. That's a good start, because the way I kind of see it is I'm playing with lunch money. And if I can turn the lunch money into a bit of a larger pot by being very protective and quick with it, when I do see something that is so like painfully obvious that it's going to run, and that it'll be a longer time from a couple weeks, a couple months, like this Mamo token, right? Like it looks like a meme coin. That could be $1 billion token. Coinbase supports it. Coinbase might send all their users to go buy that token and be like, listen, all your millions of dollars, put them through this AI agent, right? They might do that. So something like that, to me, it's like you're just playing with your lunch money, having fun, not holding too long. And then when you see something that you're like, man, this is the most conviction I have. It hasn't hit a crazy top yet. It's going to break out. You go all in, and that's your chance to turn $1,000 into 50. Like that's not $50, $50,000.
50,000.
That can happen too. But yeah, so that's kind of my mindset, is that it's like, I can't log in every day and expect to hit these mega multipliers. I'm just looking for small multipliers until there's something really good that could actually do well that comes along.
And are you making trades every day on your show?
I would say yes, I think so. And more so, because even when we're looking at like funny little meme coins, we're still doing a bit of TA, right? Like even the most degenerate ASDAC meme coin, it still follows like pretty general rules of being oversold, overbought, forming a wedge. Like that still happens for those tokens, right? And I think that if anything, when it's a crappy little meme coin like that, it's actually more obvious, so long as you check your boxes of, checking if it has a rug risk, if the wallets are bundled together and someone's manipulating it. There's a couple little boxes like that you can check just to find those daily runners. So totally, I think we totally like trade every day on the show, or at least look at things that we might want to trade. And at the worst case, Jay, listen, it's not gonna be something I buy every day. There might be things that some days there's a list of stuff that's like, these are obvious scams, despite them having tons of volume, having huge market caps, everybody talking about them. It's a sophisticated rug, so let's stay away. So at the very least, we're learning every day. And kind of sharpening that skill.
Selling your Bitcoin should be a last resort when you need cash. That's why there's Ledn, the trusted platform for Bitcoin-backed loans. You can unlock cash in as little as 18 hours with no monthly interest payments and no prepayment penalties. They've issued over $9 billion in loans and never lost a single Satoshi of client funds, even during the chaos of 2022. If you're a long-term hodler, this is the move. Get liquidity without selling at milkroad.com/Ledn, spelled Ledn. Meanwhile is the world's first licensed and regulated life insurance company built for the Bitcoin economy. They do everything in BTC. You pay in BTC, they pay claims to your family in BTC. You take out policy loans entirely in BTC when you need liquidity. Protect your family from life's uncertainty and a broken financial system. Build intergenerational Bitcoin wealth while the cost of living skyrockets in dollar terms. Plus, get all the tax and legal benefits of life insurance now in Bitcoin. Visit milkroad.com/meanwhile to join the waitlist and get early access to the world's first Bitcoin life insurance. Love it. Okay, let's get into some. You got some charts to show us and some stuff you want to walk us through.
Well, Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, you want
Go
to
ahead.
ask a question?
Well, okay. So the biggest story of the trenches of meme coins, of all that stuff that's coming up, and I think it's coming up this quarter, Jay, because on Polymarket, the chances of a Pump.fun airdrop / TGE happening before July 31st is at like 75% or something like that.
Oh shit.
I actually
Okay.
don't have Polymarket pulled up, but anyways, trust me, I was looking at it last night. So we're very likely looking at Pump.fun launching their token in the next 50 days. Right. And that's, I'm sure you guys must have covered that at some point on your show.
For sure.
Right. Yeah, of course. They're raising $1 billion. Right. And at a $4 billion valuation, which if you look at the product, right. Can we pull my screen back up? How do you get my screen back on the thing here? Okay. So, and you guys definitely looked at this, but this is, if you zoom out, Pump.fun looks like an incredible product. $740 million of revenue, 2 years, tiny team. What an incredible startup.
Jesus.
Right. And that's even every time you look at it again, you're like, that is
crazy.
absurd, right? And keep in mind that Pump.fun has started an entire trend of launch pads. This is how you launch tokens now. AI agents are almost exclusively launched on launch pads. Base is building launch pads. Everyone's tried to build competitors to Pump.fun because it is a way better model than just buying from the contractor, waiting for liquidity or whatever. It solves all these problems. This will be the biggest story of the quarter by far. And I think there's two sides to it. And again, this is outside my purview because we're usually, I'm talking about mercenary daily stuff. When these types of things happen, again, being mercenary with your capital, I always look at it as, are people going to be selling the news? Is this the end of the meta? Right? We've seen different metas, narratives, whatever you want to call them, come and go. NFTs will always be the best example that anything that seems so great and beautiful can go away and die. I wonder if this Pump.fun thing will be the end. The pros for it, the selling features are fantastic. It's like, hey, if there's institutional investors out there who want exposure to the meme coin market, which is an incredibly massive market, they can buy this token, right? And the other pros are like, well, listen, Pump.fun, they're going to raise $1 billion. They're going to go build their own chain. They're going to build all this infrastructure. Maybe they'll pay massive streamers like I don't know, Mr. Beast or other pretend Mr. Beasts to come and stream on Pump.fun because it's also a streaming platform, right? There's a lot of bullish cases for why they'd be raising this. But my bear case on it is that I can't help but be reminded of something else similar, which was when, actually, I can even pull up the news article. Last time, a similar startup that everybody loved went and raised almost $1 billion at a $4 billion valuation, Jay, and that was Yuga Labs, right? Look at the date, March 22nd, 2022, right at the end of the token. Well, it's slowing down my computer. I have that site up. These guys have just launched their own token. Here's the, that was their land sale. This is the token, right? And then they raised almost $1 billion to launch their NFT land. It sucked $100 million of gas out of the market. This is the price of those NFTs. And that was the end of NFTs. That was it. Everybody got torched, right? Barely held floor price from what they sold it for, dropped off. And that was pretty much the end of NFTs. And to me, we already had a similar event in meme coins back at the inauguration. And this event, it crashed the whole market. It wasn't just this, but the Trump token, also a massive liquidity suck where you probably had a lot of people buying almost at $80 billion or whatever it hit. Now sitting at 10, still one of the top meme coins, top 5 meme coin, probably going to stay like that for a long time. But this just absolutely nuked the market. And my current fear is that Pump.fun is going to have a similar effect where it's going to nuke the market. It's going to be almost impossible for them to deliver on expectations in the short term of $1 billion raise. What do you do with $1 billion? What do you go into? What has Yuga Labs done with $1 billion? You know what I mean? Like, what have they done? So
I have no idea. Not much.
Yeah. So I feel like we're kind of heading off a cliff here, at least with meme coins and maybe a lot of other degen assets. We're gonna do our best on the show to navigate through it and look for the right opportunities. But I'm generally bearish for the market on the Pump.fun. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to find a good entry to the Pump.fun token when it does launch. And I'd love for them to roll out excellent tokenomics where the airdrop doesn't over reward certain users or influencers. There's not some horrible unlocks like there were on ApeCoin, and that there's actually like a decent plan in place. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So that is kind of like the impending event in the trenches sometime in the next 2 months.
What about what's the impact on Solana?
Whew, good question. So there's a lot of ways to look at Solana's success.
Let me just say, Pump.fun is on Solana. Let me just caveat that.
Yeah, Pump.fun is on Solana. Correct. And there's actually a trader, Easy Eats, who had pointed out that Pump.fun is actually deflationary for Solana, because every time a token gets launched, it has to kind of lock in a certain amount of SOL just to launch. So all those dead tokens have market caps of like 3,000 or 4,000. So you've got a handful of SOL locked into tens, hundreds of thousands of tokens. So it's actually a bit of a deflationary mechanic. I think that this could be, if Pump.fun announces their own L1, that they're going to go and build their own chain, and it has nothing to do with Solana, that's a huge hit for Solana. And there's so many other things on Solana that aren't just meme coins. But I think in this cycle, at least in the attention economy, it's been known for meme coins, and it's facilitated meme coins in such an incredible way. You can trade meme coins so much better on Solana than on Base or anywhere else, all right? Has the infrastructure for it. But if these guys, if they want all that for themselves and they want to build something different and they're moving away from it, then that's definitely, that's going to be a big blow for them, you know?
Okay. So for everyone out there, what's the, what are you watching around Pump.fun token? You're watching for when it's going to happen, and then you're like, are you positioning heading up into it? Are you getting out of positions because you're worried about how it's going to impact the market as a whole, and you just want to kind of like let that uncertainty ride out? How do you play it whenever it will happen, which it sounds like it's going to be in the next few months?
It really depends on tokenomics. It really depends how much of it is available at first. It depends. They're doing a pre-sale, which they haven't explained what that's going to be. The rumored tokenomics are that there's going to be a 10% airdrop, and I wonder how that's going to be tiered. My main question for it is who's holding this token and how much right off the bat? Because if some people are able to hold large amounts of supply, I think we're in deep shit, you know? And like, for example, like there's some users on Pump who've launched like thousands of tokens, right? And they just do this repeatedly and bought different accounts and launch and launch.
Right.
And
so
launch.
It doesn't mean that person deserves the airdrop.
That's not a legit thing. That's not a me or a you who's like, oh, thank you for all the tokens. I'm a power user. I will continue using this. Like Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid's a totally opposite example where it's like, listen, the people who had $200 million of volume on Hyperliquid, those are power users who like using the perps of Hyperliquid, not people who are trying to launch scam tokens to rug on people. And that's not everybody on Pump.fun, but it's a completely different user base in terms of the power users of people that spend money there, because people use Pump.fun to launch like really sophisticated operations with all these fake buying bots and bundles and all that, right? So it's like if you have this tiered or weighted airdrop on Pump.fun, you know, that's I can't imagine that going over well. But at the same time, how do you identify the people that are real users and not bad actors?
Very interesting. Yeah, that's a really, really great take. Okay, let's transition into what else are you watching? What are the other narratives, the other metas? Because the thing is okay, regardless of what happens with meme coins, and I'm sure there's many people who are yelling and thinking that you're crazy to think that the end of meme coins is coming. And guys, come on the show. I'll let you yell at LG. You can yell at me too. I love it. But there's always going to be a crypto casino. There's always going to be speculation. I mean, even outside of crypto, there's always gamblers. That's never going to end. So what else are you paying attention to right now? What's hot, and where do you think there is opportunity for maybe the next 100x?
That's a great question. I think shameless plug. Best opportunity for next 100x is listen to the show, because I'm not going to, whatever we're talking about today, if we did the show again in 3 months, I'd probably have a completely different opinion. And I think that that's one of the biggest holdups for a lot of people that are influencers or talking heads, is that, you know, you lead your followers down one road, and if you change your mind, it's really hard to say that to your followers. I experienced that a couple of years ago, something very different, where once you kind of turn sour on something you've been pumping for a while, people don't like that. So I'm just going to say that your best chance at 100x is to stay really fluid and to stay really open-minded, okay? Because these things, AI agents, go back a year ago, and I told you that there would be AI agents, and that AI agents would have a market cap cumulative of like 8 billion and having peaked at 20 billion. You think that's insane? You would honestly think that that's crazy. right? So I would say that even in a year, there could be something entirely new where you had a chance to get in on the ground floor. There are two current narratives that I think are quite dominant outside of the meme coins and Solana trenches and all that, that have already kind of, I'm wondering what point they're at in their own cycle, because I think they're getting a little bit late and a little bit tired in the market. Like the capital inflow might be getting a little tired of continuing to buy new things. And they are AI agents, which I think have a bull case long-term for there to be a few winners similar to NFTs. And the other one, which I like to call, or the common term for it, is InfoFi, which is kind of a more sophisticated version of paid marketing, where there's a platform called Kaido, which maybe you guys have probably covered a few times, but and everybody's trying to copy Kaido now. There's Cookie.fun that's competing it. There was Laudio 2 weeks ago that did all this volume and all this attention, where that for a lot of people feels quite unsustainable as a meta. Whereas something like AI agents, I think a lot of people thinking, that might actually have legs, whereas like a crypto and AI mashup makes a lot of sense long term. And a lot of people see as like down the road, maybe a lot of us will be just giving our money to these bots and having them trade it for us, and many similar newer applications. So those are the kind of two things that people are trading right now, where there's a few handful of winners that you hear about, but there's also a lot of there's a lot of opportunity in tokens that are maybe $1 million, $2 million, $5, $10 million market caps. Every day there's 2 or 3 new launches on virtuals that goes through their new Genesis program, that a lot of them are good companies. They're being vetted. You have all these content creators using InfoFi to evaluate them. Maybe one of those can be $1 billion token, right? None of them have a market cap over $30 million right now, but one of those could easily become $1 billion token being born out of these, kind of AI startup agent trenches.
I think what's interesting to me is that the opportunities here they come so fast and so quickly, but they also ride the sentiment of the greater crypto narrative and what basically is liquidity flowing into crypto and what's happening. Because what's happened over the past 6 months is just we're not getting a lot of new retail in, but you and I have talked a lot about, and the whole Milk Road team believes this, and a lot of our guests believe this as well that we've had on the show, is that we are still in a bull market, and that the second half of this year, the summer feels very difficult to predict. We'll see. I feels like we're on a little bit of an alt season right now, and things are ripping right now, which is very, very exciting and very bullish, but also a little bit, I'm not sure exactly how to play it right now. But my point is, there's the opportunity to get these big winners also coincides with market cycles. And we are still in a bull market, whether it's Q3, Q4 this year, Q1, 2026, I don't exactly know, but there is going to be that euphoric mania moment when the crypto casino goes absolutely crazy and we have new people coming in every day and retail's back. And that is coming, like that, which is why we were so excited to launch this show and for you to launch Milk Road Degen right now, because we could see that, hey, we're not entering during a bear market, right? When it's like, maybe you don't want to be here because you're actually just exit liquidity.
So I think all this is, that's a great take, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your positive outlook. I hope we haven't hit mass euphoria yet, because I've got tokens I still want to exit on, but I want more. I'm greedy, not following my own rules. But even just kind of zooming out from what we're talking about, and the general question that everybody's asking, whether it's you guys or it's me, is like, listen, what is there going to be another Bored Apes, right? Is there going to be another Fartcoin? How do I know what that is, right? And I already said keep an open mind. Even just talking to you, Jay, and trying to kind of show you on all this crap, I really think the next big opportunity is in something that finds product market fit before there's 2 ways to look at it. One is going to be an application that finds product market fit and can hold it and launches a way for retail to get into it where you can actually make money. Pump.fun, maybe. I don't think the fundamentals are there for that to be a sustainable product. Again, depends what they do with their $1 billion. Something like Polymarket, to me, is like, that's an MVP product. Their volume on sports is up 10x from a year ago. They're integrating with Twitter. That to me is not only like To me, I'm like, I got to do whatever I can to be part of that wealth creation, whether they launch a token or whether you have people that build apps to help you optimize that integration, whatever that is. However, I can buy into that kind of. I just want some of that energy. I don't even know what it is, but I have to find the way to get it. Something like that, like an MVP product that's already working, to me is like a place where you might find opportunities, because crypto is all about like speculation and opportunity. So there's one, like, actual tech stack builds that makes sense. That's one type of opportunity. And the other is cultural retail. We're never going to see Bored Apes come back, but I think that retail is desperate for something that they can really attach to. And I think that when you think about NFTs and even some of the metas now, the things that cook the best are things that even institutional investors like you guys who don't want to spend that much money, things that you actually like doing. At the end of the day, Jay, I'm a freaking nerd, man. Like, look at this freaking Thanos glove behind me. Look at all this crap I have. I'm a nerd. I like things that I want to nerd out about. That's why originally NFTs, NBA Top Shot, I was so into it. That was so awesome to me. And I think that, again, there's two ways to look at it. One, a tech product, and the other is like, is there going to be another like thing that people can really attach to? And even in the trenches right now, some people love reading about AI agents. Some people absolutely love that. And that's what people love, that startup energy, right? And you've got Believe, Launchcoin, also a big kind of like startup vibe. All these guys kind of cooking up.
What's going on in Believe? What is, like,
dude, they're up, man. Their stuff crashed and now they're coming back. They've got some real applications No, I got to see more from them, but okay. But their token's coming back, man. You bought that low a couple days ago, $100 million cap. It's back up 250 today. Like I think there's a good like builder energy right now. And if you can find, my general, kind of recommendation to people is that whether it's a cultural move or a tech move, there's definitely something in the trenches out there in the degen world that you can latch onto and nerd out over. Right. And I came up and it was digital sports cards, but now it's AI agents. It's tweeting about things for money. Like, these are things that I think are actually really cool. People probably roll in their eyes. They don't think that those are cool, but I'm saying that I think there'll be stuff, especially in a bull market, there's stuff that comes along that might interest you, that might be something you can get into. And if you're lucky, that's also something that can be $1 billion asset. Some people love trenching, dude. Some people love staying up all night watching all the new meme coins come up and like trying to buy them and buy and then sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. Use Telegram bots to do that. Some people love that.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's not for me. And I honestly, I open Pump.fun, I instantly close it. I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure. I'm like, who likes this product? Like, it gives me. I have no idea what's going on. It's just total chaos to me, and it's not for me. But I do want to take a small percentage of my portfolio and I want to have fun again with it. Like that I do want to do. And I think about it all the time, and I'm not doing it because I don't have the time. And so I think, tuning into your show, reading your newsletter gives me that chance. Okay, before we wrap, any broad question, like any tokens or projects that you do like that you want to share right now? Or I mean, we talked a bit about AI agents. Like, I really believe that the AI narrative is going to still absolutely cook at some point this cycle. I didn't think it would be virtuals again, to be honest, but here we are, and virtuals is doing great again. So I'm not sure where it is. If somebody wants to, okay, right now, let me ask you a specific question. Somebody wants to, if they're in on the AI narrative, they believe in AI. Where do you think is the best opportunity right now within the AI narrative?
Take an hour a day and read about new stuff that people are building. I don't think we have the biggest AI token that there's going to be yet. I don't think it's out. And if it is, it's very under the radar. It could be one that already exists that's like sub 100 million and they're building in the background and they're going to deploy stuff soon or have a big partnership soon that's going to send them skyrocketing. But I think AI, that's tech stack, man. Like that is technical stuff. And I'll spend as much time as I can reading about it, but I can't cover it all. And if you want to nerd out on that stuff, even just think about even look for AI agents that are doing things that you're interested in, real world applications, things that can manage your money, manage your investments, right? I think that there's a lot of stuff building there. And there's a lot of really great content about it on Twitter. Honestly, on X, there's a lot of really good writers out there actually writing legit stuff, not just Info5 paid stuff, right? So to me, I think that we will easily see an AI token be in the top 10 in the next couple of years in crypto, if not sooner. I don't think it's any of the ones that you can name off the top of your head right now. I don't think anybody's cracked that yet. I think we're very early in that build. And I think most of them will go to zero, mainly because there'll be a couple that'll really just blow them away. It's such an obvious marriage, Jay, to have AI and crypto. Like,
so
please
obvious.
take my whole, even at the base level, I guess, please take my whole portfolio and just manage it for me. Like, oh yeah, absolutely. I want to do that.
100%.
Oh my God. So that to me is where that can go.
What do you think? Last question. What do you think the next meta could be?
God, dude, let's get sports to come back, please. I don't know how. Bring sports back, please. Polymarket is so good. I love
Polymarket.
I love betting on the dumbest stuff, man. I love that kind of crap. I think that I think consumer lanes would be great to come back. You know, not just investment AI agents, but like other thing. We had so much promise with NFTs and it never really panned out. But I'd love for somebody to crack that. You know, like what's the most popular mobile app of the last couple of years? I don't even know. TikTok, ChatGPT, right? An AI app. There you go. Yeah. So what's the future of social media? Right? How does that tie into crypto? How can you bring that over? Right? Does Twitter's talked about bringing Vine back. Right? There's all these different kind of ideas like that I think it's like we still have to find a way to bring retail back in that outside of just buying Bitcoin. Right. That's what was so good about some of the recent metas is that, or at least NFTs, is like, listen, that was something that retail could catch on to. They're cute photos, right? That had some kind of meaning behind them. Right now in the trenches, one of the biggest problems we have is that I don't think there's really that much new money. Right.
No,
you're trying to buy stuff that the institutions, we're trying to buy things that you guys are going to want to buy in a couple months. That's honestly what we're trying to do. Right. Like we're trying to get virtuals early. So in a couple months, you guys FOMO into it. That's what we do in the trenches. But there's not. Yeah, I tell my buddies, my real life buddies, what I'm doing. They're just like, I never want to do any of the stuff you're doing right now. Whereas a couple of years ago, and I always come back to NFTs, like when I told NFTs, like people were interested in that. So I feel like we're ready sometime soon in this bull market. It's like, bring us another consumer idea. Bring us
here's
meta.
my call. Here's my call for you right now.
Throw it out there.
Bitcoin hits 200K by the end of the year. And that is what is going to bring everybody's coming back, because once Bitcoin starts ripping, like I think it's going to rip towards the end of the year, then we are going to see everybody gets attention. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin. I mean, everyone's already talking about Bitcoin and stable coins now, right? So that's going to bring retail back. And remember, a lot of this stuff lags, right? So even though the cycle might peak at, maybe I think the cycle is going to peak Q1, Q2, somewhere around like March is my guess in 2026. But even then, there is still 3 to 6 months of everybody FOMOing in, because usually people come in at the top, right? That's when it's like, I mean, everybody's you're your own worst investor, your own worst trader, because you don't want to buy when things are down bad and cheap, and you want to buy when they're really expensive, which is the exact opposite of what you should do. So that's my call, is that we see this rush come in because Bitcoin absolutely rips, and then it brings everybody back. I don't know what the meta is going to be. I don't know where the crypto casino opportunity is, but I think the money will flow in big ways. And we're going to have I think we could have an even crazier mania than we've had ever before, to be honest.
Yeah, I love your optimism, man. We need more of that in the trenches. We're gonna get you on our show, and we'll do a show. In one day, Jay, is we'll just get a show or bring you on, and I just show you assets, and you have to tell me in 2 seconds you buy it or not, and we'll just blast through it. You know what I mean?
I'm down. I'm down.
Like just this fast fire kind of show.
Okay, last question. Fartcoin, because everybody loves talking about Fartcoin. In our community, we talk about it all the time. Would you buy Fartcoin right now?
What's your timeline?
You tell me.
I think there'll be way better entries on Fartcoin. I think that every single meta that comes and goes, NFT is a good example, Pudgy Penguins, but meme coins as well. Even this current stable of meme coins, every single meta that comes and goes, 99% of them go to zero. This is a Gary V thing that he said when he came into NFTs, and the 1% survive. So you have remnants of metas that stick around and are there forever, right? So from the last meme coin cycle, you've got the Doges and the Pepes. So I think to me, like, okay, what's going to stick around for after, if all the AI tokens go to zero, if all the meme coins go to zero, what can survive? Fartcoin is definitely one of those. But at 1.3, 1.4 billion, totally. Can it hit 2 billion this week, 3 billion next week? Like, I think so, absolutely. But if it ever hits 20 billion, I think you'll be able to buy. I think you'll be able to buy it sub 1 billion or sub 500 mil before you can buy it, before you can sell it for 20 billion. And the same goes for Pepe. The same life cycle of all those tokens, man. It's always the same.
Well,
so yeah. You want to stack Fartcoin for a long time? Go for it.
Yeah. I don't know that I do. It is certainly a token that a lot of people in our community talk a lot about.
Way too expensive for me, man. Way too expensive for me, dude. That's like,
I like it. That says a lot about you and about your show. It's fancy.
That's like me saying, "Hey, can I get a slice of pizza?" And you're like, "How about some caviar?" And I'm like, "Whoa, man, chill out." Give me a hot pocket, dude.
LG, just so excited to have you launching Milk Road Degen and leading this side of Milk Road. So grateful to get you sharing your knowledge with us, and appreciate your time on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It's been always fun shooting the shit with you, and always have a good laugh. I'm glad to be part of the family. Thanks, and thanks to you, Jay, for everything in the last couple months working together on this. It's been a lot of fun, and I love the team you guys have. And I'm excited for the future. I think Milk Road has a great future, and I feel like at the end of the day, we kind of have the same mentality where we want to bring a lot of value to the people that are watching the show and reading the words, and, I feel like I really fit in. So, appreciate you and appreciate everybody on the team.
Oh, there's a virtual hug, man. That's so nice. That's so nice. You're going to make me tear up. Okay. I got to remind everybody, as I always do, that none of today was financial advice. You should only invest what you are prepared to lose, because investing is risky. I'm not your financial advisor. LG is not your financial advisor. But if you want to take some shots in the trenches, you should subscribe to the Milk Road Degen newsletter. Hit the link in the show notes. You should also check out LG's daily show on X, 15 to 20 minutes per day, 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern every day. You can follow him on X. You can follow Milk Road Degen on X. Links will be in the show notes. Thanks as always for tuning in, folks. Have yourselves a wicked awesome day. We'll see you back again tomorrow. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your #1 resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note, this show is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.